Oh, I didn't. I didn't anticipate that happening. I took a deep breath before it started rolling. I said, I'm just going to keep blowing this out for as long as I can. And apparently that was probably about 20 seconds or so. 23? I don't know. What? 23? Thanks, Mike. Yeah. Mike's not over there. There's no mic there. That's the name of my printer. I want to show you some art that I've been working on today. But before I do, I know you're in suspense now, aren't you? It's not that exciting. Well, it's exciting for some people. I want to shout out happy birthday. Ready? No. I just want to give a little happy birthday out to Jason Miller, who I used to play D&D with before he moved to DC. I can't talk about what he does now. Really. I can't. It's good. It's not bad. And Scott Levesque. I don't think either of these guys watch it. So if you guys know these individuals and you see them, pass it along. Of course, on Facebook, I wish them both a happy birthday. But it's nice to, say it on here, like especially for the people who do watch it. And the people who don't, well, you're all a bunch of jerks. No, you're not. You're not at all. Scott, I know from Massachusetts. I actually met him and my friend Ken Medeiros back in, had to have been about 92 or 93, a sleepover at the church. Kenny was like a youth director type person there, and Scott and him were playing in a band called Blatant Disregard, I believe at the time. Actually, it might not have been, because they've been lifelong friends anyway. So it might have been that they were just getting together to do something. And so I met Scott the night, I think me and Kenny were playing together at the church, jamming or whatever. And then that was the first time I met him. That was a long, long time ago. But then I got to know him more in the early 90s, hanging out with him and a bunch of people that used to hang out down the studios and stuff. Good times were had. So, cool guy, wonderful songwriter, good friend. And Jason Miller, phenomenal role player and cool guy all around. So, I've been, I always want to say blessed. I hate that because people say have a blessed day. I want to be like, no, I don't. I want to be happy and make people smile. See, I gotta catch myself before I fall back into old habits. I don't appreciate it. I've been very blessed in my life to know a lot of good people. So let's move on to some of the stuff I've been drawing today. This is Big Jim on the farm. He's taking a walk up his hill like he does every day. There's a few things I want to mention about Jim. I hope you can see this. I had a hard time getting it to focus on the drawings. Yeah, see, it's doing it again. That really pisses me off. Anywho, I'll just try to do something with this. I don't know what I want to do. There you go. Well, here's Big Jim. I know it doesn't focus that well. So Big Jim's wearing a wedding ring. His wife has passed away, though. She's long since passed away. But he's come to accept that. He just has never moved on. He's a real romantic, this Jim. He was the strong guy of the retired superhero group, and now he's bought a farm, and he's basically living out the rest of his days on this farm. The other two guys, which I haven't drawn yet, I think I've told you about them, though. There's Jim, Harold, Jim, Harold, and Vincent. Well, Vincent's... Well, go back and watch. I'll put a link if I remember. Let me write it down. Let's see. 420. Link Supers video. Yeah, that way you can see that, because I told you all about them. I'm not going to go into detail about them, but I have come up with some new characters and a solid 50 episode issue comic run. Probably I could easily go into the hundreds. I mean, I could go tell other stories. I'm really proud of this. I really like this. Not so much because of Jim, partially because of Jim's clothes, partially just the shading, the shadowing, I should say, and perspective, maybe not be great, but I feel like I came up with a little bit of depth on it. I'm just going to show you because the way it got shaded in this one, it's really hard to tell. I wish you could see this a little bit better. I used 3 mediums on this. Basically, I printed it out and then I inked it. And then after I inked it, I went back over with a gray marker. You can't see it, but all of this has some, oh, I guess you can see if I do that, mild like shading. It's supposed to be, you know, where the crops, sorry, crops would go. But I really like this. It feels, there's a feel to it. He's happy. You can see this big smile on his face. His eye is way too big. I'm going to shrink that in Photoshop. But the hands got the wrinkles on them that I felt came really good. The marker just came out exactly how I wanted it to come out. And though my anatomy is not perfect, I feel like this is a better example rather than, you know, I guess you shouldn't judge your own work because I love this. I love the way it came out. It's probably the best, my favorite thing I've done in a long time. And then I did this. And this was pencil, and I did ink right over the pencil. I didn't scan it in. I hope you can pick up the grays in this too. Nonetheless, this is a test of anatomy and form. Like I had a very specific like position in mind, and it's nothing like what I originally planned for it to be. However, I'm still very satisfied. Originally, I wanted him looking back towards us, and his lower body would have been almost completely twisted around with his knee up near his chest. But then it took on a life of its own, and I'm happy with it. Like, a lot of times when I go outside, because you know my drawings, like they're all 3/4 or dead on. Occasionally I get lucky and I just nail something. Like this, I thought. You know, it's not perfect. I didn't intend for it to be perfect. I didn't intend for it to be like a final thing that I was going to do a print or anything out of. So I'm happy with it. I'm very happy with it. And then I've just, you know, all this stuff. I know I've showed you guys most of this stuff, so I'm not going to really go through it all. But, I mean, it's just weeks of drawing. Like for me, it's a lot of drawing. That's a ton of drawing. And there, well, there's a few blank, 3, 4 or 5 blank pages in there. All things considered, though. You know, if I was grading myself a year ago, I would have been freaking out that I could draw as good as this. Not that it's great. I mean, I hate when I put myself up on a plate. I don't know. I shouldn't. You know, my stuff is improved. It's still not great. It's not good compared to a lot of other things I see. But you know, I feel like I'm getting a technique. Like I feel like my lines are making sense to me now. Shading and clothing is just something that I feel I'm on top of now. This guy's neat. Yeah. It's all brown Sharpie and or Faber-Castell or Faber-Castell. Yeah, that's the intro to the show that I use so often. Maybe I'll remember to put it on tomorrow night. Or tonight. Tonight's video. Yeah, this was all pen. Just some guy, some Jedi or something. No good. That was another one I was going to send out a bunch of free ones if people wanted them, but I got this guy, baseball guy. Lighting is horrible in here for this. I was working on a Tinge Nerdle. I never got too far on that. I'll pull that one out though. This is neat too. I should scan that in and ink that maybe. New background. I really like this too. I mean, that's going back weeks now. It's nice when you can look back a few weeks and go, oh wow, look at where I've come from where I was, a wormy, kind of all in ink. I don't know if you saw that after I added like the rain and stuff on it, but that's wormy. I might give that to Mike, but I really like the way it came out now, so now I kind of want to hang on to it. See, this is why I can never be zen, man, or completely zen, because I can't let go of art. Like, I'm better at it than I was. But like, I like having, at least I have digital copies of everything. That's all I can say is, you know, it's still nice to know that I have digital copies of things. Because then, you know, if I ever want to do anything with them, I have them. If I want to use them as a print or print them out. And I usually have them at every stage of the game, black and white, color. I don't know. Now I've messed this all up. That was on top. These were on the bottom. Batman. Damn it, Batman. But I just look back, like, I have a lot of sketchbooks. Oh, there's my other damn glasses. I've been looking at these for days. Those aren't bad, but I have a sunburn on my shoulders. Not bad, but enough. Oh my god, that's so much better. It's those are the magnification's a little better on those, but they're cheaper, and I think they're a little crooked, so my eyes get a little wonky. I get a little wonky. Anywho, yeah, I just really dig this new stuff. Actually, my original intention for the one with Jim was supposed to be page 1 or page 5 in the comic. It was basically going to start out by introducing the 3 main characters in a very interesting and possibly funny way. Because I wanted everybody to meet Big Jim first. A gentle soul, a nice man, farmer. He was married, and he was a superhero group. In the superhero group. Then you meet Vincent, which is exactly the opposite. He's very scrawny, and his metabolism is so fast that it's hard for him to gain weight and stuff, so he's extremely fast. He's like lightning fast. But he can't use his powers anymore, except on rare occasions, because there's a chance it could kill him, basically. And he's grown bitter for multiple reasons. His friend Harold, who's the guy in the middle. You got Jim, who's, I'm not going to say Clark Kent, but like, he's the strong one, the sweet one. He's not a country boy by any means. He's just retired to a farm. Then you've got Harold in the middle. Now, Harold, there was an accident, and Vincent accidentally did something to Harold, and his brains got scrambled. So he's not coherent all the time. Most of the time he is. But there's a good part of the time as well that he's just forgetting things like people's names, colors, just silly things. And that's how you would have met him. He's in a nursing home, and this nurse, the male nurse, is feeding him, I don't know why I said male nurse, I'm sorry, peas or something like that. And you can just see he's kind of haggard. He's the oldest looking of them. Vincent's pretty old looking too, but he still has his wit and his charm and his edge about him. So he's a little bit less older looking, though I think he is the oldest of them. And Harold was just the I can't remember his powers. This is how unimportant their powers are to the story I want to tell. Harold, Jim, and Vincent grew apart from each other, but they both had Harold in common, so they always deal with each other. So once a week they take him out to eat. Just go watch the video. And they go bowling. So another plot comes into play where these new younger heroes are trying to track down this one villain who's, I can't say anything from here on in, but I'd love to do this comic, but the idea of a comic is very daunting to me, like taking it from start to finish. Like, I couldn't imagine, although, I look at this, and, then again, this is a few months worth of work, probably, but if I did, like they do in the comics, one comic a month, problem is I'd have to draw every cell, and there could be, or frame, rather, so there could be 4 or 5 on a page at some point. So I just gotta, but then again, that's the funny thing is, like, when you look at comics, I don't really think about it, but it's drawn on the same piece of paper, 11 by 17, all those frames, I believe. I don't think those are individual drawings, because they would, the detail would be finer. When you look at those other drawings in comics, especially older comics, and you look at them, you can tell it was intended to be like large crowds and stuff. Bloop, 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 just little bumps for heads and stuff. Anywho, yeah, this is my newest art. I think I did something in the gray the other night, or I might not have. One way or the other. I tried to coin that phrase. Yeah, the last thing in here. Oh, there's Vincent. A new Vincent I was working on. I thought Vincent would look better on gray because he's a darker character. And then of course we haven't seen him in a while. I never inked this. I need to go back and ink it and color it. My block of corn. Block of corn, where you going when you're walking through life? Block of corn. I like to write a verse for that every 3 months. By the end of the year, I'll have a whole theme song show. There's Vincent. This is I think the final Vincent. There is one other picture of him. I know you've seen it before. I've put it on here. It's on that other video. That I think I liked a little bit better, but it was also more completed. This is the Danny DeVito one that I told you about. If you stretched out Danny DeVito, you'd end up with this guy, basically. The hair, Danny DeVito's hair is exactly how I see, well, close to how I see Vincent's. Danny DeVito on It's Always Sunny, when his hair is just wild and out of control, but he still only has that ring. Like, that's kind of how I see his hair. Almost like clown hair, but sharper. I don't know how to say that any better. Not curly, very straight, but it still is wispy and it comes out. And yeah, that's Vincent. I like him a lot. He's one of the fun characters. One of the original characters, I feel like these three characters are and their story is very original. So if you know anybody in the comic world, I'd love to write the story. I just don't think I could illustrate it. I mean, to be completely honest, I just don't. Which is unfortunate. But, you know, I shouldn't say that. I shouldn't give up so easily on myself. I should realize that I can do it. I just have to do it. It's a matter of just deciding that that's what I want to do. It's the tough thing. Like, I do have some options open to me for next projects. Like, I have a commission piece, I think, coming up. At least one. But that's something I want to do, because I haven't done that yet. Like, I've done a children's book, and I have 2 more lined up and ready to go. But the problem is like, the pay isn't great for that in this case, because I know the person's not going to want to pay what I'm willing, or be willing to pay what I want to ask. Because if it's going to take me as long as I did the last one, I want to be able to just do that. Like, if I know it's going to take me, 9 months with a job and other things going on, then I want it to take like 3 months of solid working on it, 8 hours a day at most. But that being said, I need to replace income, so that if I had to take a leave of absence from work, or if I had to do whatever, I need half of it up front, and it's hard. I'm so bad about dealing with that. Like, everybody I meet's always so nice, like, because they're creative people. I deal with a lot of creative people. For example, I did the CD cover for Patty Doherty here in Lynchburg, her last CD cover. I thought it came out really good. I mean, I had another idea, a completely different other idea in mind that she didn't want to go with, but the problem is she has her vision. She's a musician. She's also an artist, so it's just like, no, I just don't have the talent to use Photoshop, so I need your Photoshop talents, like, not your creativity. So that's a little rough. No, I mean, she did totally want input and stuff like that. I'm not saying, like, she wasn't like, this is my thing. But I know when I work with artists, they have a vision. With Mike, the guy that I did with the book with, he didn't care. Like, he liked my art. He just wanted me to draw his book in my style, which was really cool. But we never talked about pay because we're two people to get along really well when we get together, which is not common. But like when we do, like I feel like he's a good guy, and so like when I work with him, and he's creative because he wrote the story, and I'd like to consider creative because I illustrated the story for him. Like, it's hard for me to get professional with people. That's my point. Like, had I known then what I know now, and the amount of time it took, I would have asked probably, well, from him, it probably would have been about $2,500 because he was a nice guy. I liked him. See, I'm already scaling down for an individual. If I did it for anybody else, like on a professional level, that I could not get close to, I would have charged about $5,000 because that was a lot of work. I mean, first of all, coming up with each individual creature. I hadn't drawn animals in a while. Like a worm, you would think like it's pretty straightforward, but I drew about 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 worms, and I liked 4 or 5 of them a lot. I wish I could find the original one. He had glasses. He was really cute. I'll see if I can just draw him real quick. I can remember him in my head. And he had more of a rounded head. He didn't have that little flariness going on about him. And the other thing about it was, and I'm just drawing this just straight on, was that I can't remember what the other thing about it was. Oh, that's right. I think it was something like this, where he had a little bit of like it was a scarf and hat that he had on instead of, just, sorry about that. This is going on 22 minutes. I'm going to cut this off. But, yeah, all I'm saying is that I would charge a lot more in the future to illustrate a kid's book than I did to charge for this one. And I don't regret it because it was a very big learning experience for me, and now I know. And we're both comfortable with the agreement we've come to, so, hey, you know what? I'm happy with that. He's got 2 more books in mind that I look forward to, both of them for very different reasons. One of them's about an ostrich. That's all I'm going to say. And I've drawn the ostrich, and it was like, boom. The first one I drew, I was like, oh, shit. And I tried a few other ones. I was like, no, that was definitely it. And he's got another book about Africa and the African American history before slavery, because you hear so much about slavery, especially around here in Virginia, that like he wants to tell the story of the kings and queens of Africa and stuff, and that just researching it is going to be fun, and then drawing it, because then it's humans again. I can draw humans, so I can come up with whatever style I choose to go with. Is it superhero? Is it going to be the cutesy? Or is it going to be something entirely different? I don't know. But that's a story that I look forward to illustrating, as long as we can come to an agreement on price after this. Thank you for sticking around for 23 minutes and me rambling about art. I may do one more if Carol hasn't come down for the night. If I do and you come back, I look forward to seeing you. If not, then I'll catch you in the next one, or maybe further on down the road to 40, my friends. Time's ticking away, but you know what I've found? Doing these has slowed it down a little bit. I'm doing more and more to slow down. Except these, when I talk. And the only reason why I talk fast on these most of the time is because I don't want to make you guys, sit through an hour of talking slow. I may not talk slow, but I definitely have tried to slow everything else down a bit. So, to all my, I was going to quote Snoop, but I can't, because both words I would get in big trouble if I said. Thanks, Snoop and Obama, you jerk. You guys have a great night. Obama's not a jerk. And I will see you tomorrow night on episode 67 of The Road to 40 with me, Jason Andrew Oliveira, the first.